Good. Hey, nice chatting with you again, Sherrod, and welcome your audience as usual. Enjoy being with you. Um, but you see, why are we surprised? I am not, and I'd be surprised if any Guyanese person would be surprised about this. So don't let us put this audit here. Don't let us isolate this audit. Let's, if you look at what an audit is supposed to be doing, especially an audit by the government, you've got this big oil contract. This is what's going to drive the entire economy of the nation. So an audit by the government is to ensure that the people of Guyana are not being robbed or not getting shortchanged in terms of their investments and what they're entitled to. So that's what an auditor's for. The government is supposed to be doing that. So to put everything into context, and again, not to isolate this particular incident, its situation, it's part of the government modus operandi. It's, remember now, this is not the first. This was the very first audit, and by the way, this audit, like, just to be clear, this audit was done or implemented by the coalition government in before they came out of office. So I just wanted to make the comparison that initially the government was doing the right thing in terms of implementing those the responsibilities of these institutions. Audit, the coalition government recognized the importance of an audit, like I said, to satisfy the purpose of making sure that the Guyanese people get a fair shake and they're not being robbed. So initially they brought in an export international company. Now, do you recall that the big excuse that is being used by the current administration is that we do not have the capacity? Well, the government of Guyana, the coalition government of Guyana, showed that if you don't have the capacity, it is so important that you do whatever it takes to go get the capacity. So the government of Guyana at the time, the coalition government went out. They got the company. I think it's IHS Markit. So they brought in a company to do that initial audit that covered the period from 1999 to 2017. Now, that was the easy part of, probably the easiest audit to be done on, and probably the lowest amount of cost, the 1.67 billion. But let me put that into context here, Cheryl. Let me put it in the context as to what the implications are about that audit. It says 12.8%. Now, the current government, they have not audited any cost of the $40 billion, or they said that they audited part of it. I can't remember the amount, but until now we can't see the report. As you recall, Cheryl, after being pressured, you remember, initially they said, well, we don't have the capacity. They allowed the contractual obligations to do that audit in 2 years to run out. And after being pressured on a daily basis, they said, well, okay, we're going to go do it. They brought in a company. They said, September 2022 is going to be ready. No report until September 2022. No report in December. Then they said, now we're in April, no report. And now, we're hearing the administration saying, well, we're going to submit this report nonchalantly. You guys are going to get it whenever it's available. But let me put that into context. Now, what type of credibility? You can see the nonchalant attitude and the poo-pooing of the people of Guyana. But let me put that in the context as to what it means financially for the country of Guyana. Let's take that 12.8%, okay? And that's a low number, by the way, in terms of overpricing stuff on these audits. It's a low number because I remember reading, and there was this international export, a company that does this type of auditing, sometime back. I was looking for the article, but I couldn't find it. But as I recall, that company said that on the average, they're always overpriced. Like I think it's almost 25% or something. So this 12.8% is a low number. But let's take the 12.8% for argument's sake. We've got $40 billion right now, $40 billion under this administration for these new projects. And of course, it's going to increase. So I think the 40 is only for the 4 or 5 projects that are online right now. So even if you let's take 13% or the 12.8% of that 40, do you know what that adds up to? Just let's say that we don't do any audit, or we're shorting this 13%. That is over $5 billion. $5 billion. That that $240 billion is only for that 1.67%. But what happens if we continue the way that we're continuing right now, where we're not doing any kind of audit and coming up with these frivolous excuses? If we don't do those audits, the $40 million that is sitting on the table now that is unaudited, that's going to add up to $5 billion US dollars. Do you know how much that can do? $5 billion US dollars. Even if we get half of it, which is the minimum we're going to get, that's almost $3 billion. And remember what I said, that 12.8% is a low ball number. Okay, so our national budget is what is it? 2 point something billion. That's an entire year of our national budget, and like I said, it's going to be above the 40 billion. So that's the context. What if you put everything in? But here we've got, in terms of how we're doing oversight, and again, I want to compare the past administration with this administration because I've been part of the administration, and I'm not taking sides here. Okay, these are the facts. When I was there during the period of the past administration, there was a focus on making sure that there is good oversight, especially in the petroleum industry. As a matter of fact, that was one of the reasons why I was really asked to come and help out, to apply some of the principles that we apply internationally in my experience here. So you have to set up these institutions and policies and approaches to make sure that you're getting proper oversight. And the one principle that we always work by is that you trust the contractor, but you verify their work. In our instances, the contractor were not left there with an open checkbook to go do whatever they want to do to spend your money. We always had our staff, our technical staff, always, not technical alone, but administrative, our accountants, we sat in the same offices with them. We were in the same system. So if they go buy a pencil, we knew about it. We met frequently with them. We asked questions. So an auditor, for a lot of times, an audit was not even necessary. We did it because we had to check that box. We already knew on a daily basis exactly what the contractor was spending. But that's not the case here. And it's in Exxon's best interest not to have oversight. Even at the EPA, for example, you take the EPA. When in my time we were planning on having people on board the ships, the FPSOs, to see for ourselves, because over 90% of the times what the contractor tells you is nothing of the sort. After I left, they abandoned all that. We no longer wanted to be there on the ship to see for ourselves. So it's the checks and balances that we do not have. Exxon is taking advantage of it, and we're working at the behest of Exxon, as a matter of fact. And you know what they say? Always follow the money. If people do not believe now that Exxon is calling the shots, I don't know who else. I don't know what else is there to believe. For example, this audit was hidden for 2 years, and we would have never known about it, Cheryl. We would have never known about it had it not been leaked. So who do you think benefits from not having an audit? Exxon. Who do you think loses? We do. Who benefits from being exempt from the PSA model type contract is Exxon. So it's a pattern. It's a pattern here. Exxon is running the show. They're calling the shots. Who do you think benefits from not having a parent company guarantee? Exxon. Who do you think is benefit from us not preventing them from dumping water into the ocean, dirty, toxic water into the ocean? And here's the other thing that we need to start highlighting that I'm going to be talking about, because the vice president is trying to take credit, talking about the capping stock. The capping stock. Who do you think benefit? They cut back the capping stock time, meaning that the stuff that would stop if we got a spill, that would they put in the wellhead. The faster you can get into the wellhead to stop it, the better. We had 3 days. They're now allowing them. They changed the permit to make it for 9 days. But I want to put all of that in a context of the way that the current government is operating. There's no oversight basically, and these audits are costing us a heck of a lot of money. And if we don't change, we really gonna lose. But we've got to go and change it from the foundation of it is to have proper oversight and for us to have access up front. Every dime that is spent, no cost should be incurred unless the government gets involved in approving that cost. And we're not doing that. We're not doing that from the front end. The contractors are taking advantage of it. And we're not even doing it on the back end to do an audit.